Hello, students. Welcome back to your computer science class. I am Mrs. Jenny Shah. We are doing chapter 11, manipulating lists. So, last class we learned about true copy, and today I want to show you all a few programs and how we can access elements of the list, which you'll already know how to traverse elements and how to actually uh, work with a list. Okay, so for this I'm going to be doing example number 11.2 in your textbook. I had told you all to practice it. Over here we are going to extract two list slices out of a given number of lists, and we are going to display and print the sum of elements of the first slice list, which will contain every other element of the list between index numbers 5 and 15. And this program will also display the average of the elements in the second list that contains every fourth element of the list. And the given list, I will be teaching you on how to take a list from the user. Okay, so what we can do is we can make a loop which the user a user exit loop, so that it will stop when the user says to stop. So you say while true, if you remember this. Okay, and we say enter. We're going to print. Okay, we're just going to take something. A equals to eval input. Enter a list limit. Okay, and then I'm going to make a list which is an empty list. This I should not make it in the while loop. I'm going to make it outside the while loop. But inside the loop, I am going to append. So whatever the user tells me will keep going inside. Okay. And over here, I will say press 0 to exit. All right. And what I'm going to do is over here at the end. That means my list cannot have 0. Huh? Let me be very clear about that though. If A equals to 0 or A equals to 0, whether it is a string or it's an integer, then you're going to break the loop. Okay. Else you're just going to append it and you're going to keep going outside. Now, once we have the list with us, first let's check if this works. So to check if it works, we'll have to print the list to check, correct? Let's run this. Okay, RT is not defined. So if I put an RT, it stops working. All right, let's run it like that. Okay, so I pressed 0 to exit, and here my entire list has been made. Now, for this particular program, I want to only take integers from the user. So over here, I'm going to say press X to exit, and I'm just going to check if it equals to X. Then we will exit. And while appending it into the loop, I am going to convert it into an integer value, and then I'm going to add it to my list. So when I take it from the user, it can be string. But while I'm adding it to my list, I'm using the inbuilt integer function, which is typecasting, type conversion, and I'm converting that number into an integer type and then adding to my list. Okay, I'm again going to try this one. I'm going to try with 0 so that 0 doesn't show me exit, and then X to exit, and that is my list. All my numbers I can see. So here I can say enter only integers. So my user knows that he cannot enter anything else. That's one thing. Okay. Now we go to the second part of this program. After we take a list, I have to make two more lists. The first list has to have all the elements from the index number 5 up till 15. Okay. And the second list should contain every fourth element of the list. Okay, so first and foremost, we are going to tell the user to enter 20 numbers. Now, when I know I want the user to enter 20 numbers, I don't need to press X for exit. I can easily put a for loop over here, which says for I in range 20. Yes, because I know that I want to enter 20 numbers. Enter 20 numbers, and over here we are just going to write enter. No need for this, and we can make this into integer right here, or you can put it at the end before adding it. You can decide whether you want to put a integer over here or you want to put integer over here. It's a choice. You can select any one of the two, no problem. So in case you are not, you can use append like this. So now we know that the list is going to be added to L. Now we have to create the other two lists. The list 1 will equal to the list, but it will contain from 5 up till 15. So I'm writing 16 over here. From the index value 5 to 16, everything will be added in list 1. And another list, we will be creating list 2, which will have every fourth element of the list. Okay, every fourth element. So start, stop, start from beginning, stop at the end, but take every fourth element. Okay, is this understood? Now, let's read the question. Display and print the sum of elements of first list slice which contains every other element of the list between 5 to 15. So over here also, we will be putting 2 because we want every alternate. Okay, and this is my list 2. Okay, now after this, the program should it has to print the sum of list 1 and it has to print the average of list 2. Okay, okay, so sum and average, these are the two calculation that we have to do. I'm just initiating these two variables with the number 0. Okay, now how will we find out the sum? We want sum of list 1, correct? So I can say something like for I in list 1. That means it will take every number, and then I can just say sum plus equals to A. So automatically it will add everything in the sum for me. Okay, and how will I do the average? For the average, again, I will say for I in list 2. Over here, it has to be list 1. For I in list 2. And I will first do the sum, just like we did upstairs, we will do the sum. I'm using the same variable names, but don't get confused. I have taught you local scope, global scope. So over here, I will have scope only over here. Okay. And just before this begins, over here, I'm going to uh, print the, sum of all elements of list 1 is. The only reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to again initiate sum to 0, because I need the same, because I need a variable to catch the sum over here. But remember, if you don't want to do this, you can always use another variable. Okay. And then I'm going to say, I'm going to again do the sum over here. Okay. And then what I'm going to be doing is to print the average, I'm going to say average equals to the sum divided by the length, whatever is the length of that list, length 2. Okay. And then I will print the average. Average of list 2 is, and then I'm just going to print the average value. Okay. So now let's run this and check. Enter 20 numbers. I'm just going to go with. I can't put all of them here. So as you can see, the minute I press 20, I automatically came out of my for loop. You can see my list 1 to 20 printed. Sum of all elements of list 1 is 100, and sum of all elements, average of list 2 is coming to 20. Let's see my list 1 and list 2 also. So right here, I want to print list 1. I want to also print list 2. Let's check it. Okay, so my list 1 is 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. My list 2 is 1, 5, 9, 13, 17. But I can see there's a little error in my addition of list 1 and my average. So let's see where is the error. Yes, the error is right here. I'm doing this in list 1 and this in list 2, and still it's coming an error. For I in list 1, that means it should add 6 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus 14. So my answer should actually come as 50. So why am I getting twice? For I in list one, someone. Oh yeah, I'm using A over here. Whereas I'm checking the elements with I. So this should be I. Same error over here. I. But what is A? A was here. Okay. All right. Let's try this now. I put 8 two times. That means my answer is going to be different now. Okay. So you can see it's changed. Okay. So this was my error. This is how you find your error. You figure out where the error is. List 1 was loading correctly. List 2 was loading correctly. My loops were correct over here. Okay. So the changes came here inside. Okay. So with this, children, I'm going to stop my class today. I want you all to practice this thoroughly, understand it, how you use slice for modification, have you have done sum, have you have done average, have you used the same variable two times over here as well as over here, and so you initiated it over here. Also, after doing the sum, you calculate the average using the length function. I want you to understand all this in detail before our next class. Till then, children, stay home, stay safe, take care, keep learning. Thank you.